Hi everyone, I'm Soraya. I'm so grateful that you're here with me today. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about a sponge, which I paint with all the time, and brushes, which I paint with all the time as well. I often combine the two to get the painting to where I really want it to look like, how I want it to look like. So I'm going to be talking about that and this brand new video showing this very sublime and I think very beautiful painting. So let me know what you think. Let's watch. So I decided I'm going to paint over this. I know a lot of you are going to say, what is wrong with this? It looks nice, and it does. It looks really nice. There's some areas that I really love. This area here I love, and certain parts in here don't like any of that. And you could see kind of the start when it was way back when I did this, how I want it to look ethereal. And I want to go with more this kind of look to the painting. It's very bright and harsh here. I want to just tone it down. I might change it completely. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Okay, so the whole canvas is covered, and at this point I have to decide, do I like this? And it's very green overall, and I don't really like that. I wanted to take it away. So I'm gonna go over that. I have a new sponge. Again, one I've used, but I've washed and I let it dry, and that's all there is on that. I put a little bit of white and light blue on here. So because I like this blue that's coming through here, I think I'm gonna do kind of the same thing on this area here. Maybe I'll start by getting rid of this because I don't like the yellow and blue that's happening here. Find you get really beautiful colors that mix together nicely when you don't wash your sponge in between. So sometimes it gets too saturated and I have to go on to a new one. But lots of times there's beautiful colors that happen when you don't wash. There's still some of that green popping through here, and I really don't want that. I might have to go over this again, but I'm gonna add a little bit of blue on here. That's a little bit of just plain Mars black. Nothing to it. Mixing right along the board, on the canvas I should say. Same sponge. Maybe a little bit darker here. There's a lot of the green that's come through here. So that was where all the green was. I'm gonna go over it with the black just so that it's really covered, and then I can go over it again with the white. So I just flipped over the sponge and I'm gonna add a little bit more dark here. Oh, I should have started. How you put the color on top also makes a difference. So here's the black on top now of the white that I was using. Should have not used the white. Of course, it's going to be more gray. I'm going to get a new sponge. This again, old one. This has a bit of white. I don't know if that's going to help. Yeah, it does. Okay. Going back to this sponge and just putting a little bit of white at the end. And very lightly kind of aiming everything to this point here. Let me know what you think of this in the end. Should I have left it? Too late now. Or what do you think? I'm just trying to inspire you to try and do this yourself. If you have paintings at home that didn't quite work out, or they're old and you think you can do better, go ahead and do them. Go ahead and paint over what you already have there. Nothing wrong with that. You end up with something very different and you learn. And if it doesn't look good, so it doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. I don't see it as a big deal. So you should try it. Maybe learn something along the way. Since I have that bit of black down here and here, I'm just going to extend it out to here. Also, there's a lot of green here. Switch sponges and just adding that bit of white that makes it look interesting. This is already dry, and that's because I don't use a lot of paint when I don't add a lot of paint when I have it on my sponge, okay? It's little amounts of paint, and then you can always go over it. And that's how it dries very quickly. If you find that it's not spreading as nice, you could add a touch of water, or you could add a bit of the matte medium, which I've shown you before. I think I've got a bottle here. You can always add that to make it flow a little easier on the canvas. I'm gonna go with a sponge that I haven't used, just to try and get a pure white. And try and cover up some of that green some more. I'm just squeezing the sponge there to get that line. Sometimes I put them in and then I realize I don't really want them. So let's just see what happens with that. I'm gonna clean this area up here and kind of make it kind of go everywhere, which is kind of cool to see. Press a little harder and you deposit more white, a little less. I'm going to smooth some of this area out just to have a place where the eye can rest. Okay, I'm going to go in with a bit of the dark, the black. Right here, white, a more pure white. I wasn't planning on using my brushes, but I might have to. And it's not like I don't want to, I love it. I just try and create paintings so that it would just by sponges, so that you could do that too. I like those dark areas in there. So I really like the way that's looking, and I'm gonna try and do the same thing here. So a lot of this is gonna get covered up. And maybe just see some of that dark coming through. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry a little bit. While I'm letting that dry, I'm gonna go back in here over with the light blue, and you can see what a difference it made just letting it dry a little bit. And I'm going to keep adding a bit of blue, light blue, in these areas, so you can see some of the blue coming out over here. So I'm just going to make it nicer. That was the original blue that was here. So I might as well try and emphasize it just a little bit. This is just squeezing what's already there. I haven't added anything, and just kind of squiggling up on the lines. This is not bad, but it looks like toes to me. So I'm gonna change it up. That's just from whatever was on the sponge. And I'm adding just a little bit of the matte medium. Since I have so much of that black on this sponge, I'm just going to use that to go over this area. I'm going to go on top of it with a little bit of white and a little bit of the light blue. Okay, I'm not liking this bottom area. I got my Payne's Gray out and I'm gonna go over it here. I don't know what it is about Payne's Gray, but I love it. It is just a gorgeous color. And you can add the light blue or white to it and it changes and just makes everything beautiful. When you layer colors on layer upon layer, it looks really good. It's very interesting. So what I'm finding is it's kind of nice, this color here, and it's very, very different here. I'm gonna try and connect that by adding more of that color here. So maybe along here, somewhere. So that color is coming here. I'm gonna add a little bit of that color here. A little bit more. Going back over what I just did with some of the white, and you can see that color coming through beneath. I'm not sure if that's exactly the color, but it's pretty good. Just gonna go over this. Not sure that I like that. I'm gonna put it back, put a new one. I like having that contrast. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm just going back and forth between the sponges that I've already used and not adding color, just adding a bit of the matte medium and using the color that's already on the sponge. Over with just a little bit more of the white. I don't like that big patch of color there. Okay. I'm finding this is not right for what's happening. So I'm gonna make it dark with a bit of the not blue, Payne's Gray, and a bit of black to really darken it up. And I can always go over some of this. It's too bad I lost that. Oh, I went over it. Now you can see on this end there's that light blue. I want some here, but not directly as it is on the other side. I don't think that would look nice. So I'm gonna make it kind of come down from here. A little bit of that light blue. Again, I'll show you all the colors at the end. And just make it kind of go like this since the focal point is going that way. didn't really want to add color, but I felt that it is a bit too dull. Okay, after having added that, I don't like it. So I'm gonna go over it with this. I know I'm getting frustrated. This happens to me sometimes. A painting just doesn't materialize, get created the way I was thinking. And it's frustrating. I know it can be for you too. So my advice is, you know, I don't give up. So don't give up. Keep it creating, keep going. It might change again and again. And I probably should have been taking a break. Okay, I'm getting very frustrated with this. Just gonna add a bit of this Payne's Gray here and here. And I kind of feel like I'm starting all over again. It happens that it just doesn't work out. Sometimes that happens, but I do keep going until it does work out.
So I could have cut out a lot of this section where I'm kind of not sure what I'm doing, where I'm going with the painting, why it's not working out. But I want to be really honest with you and show you that it is a process. It's a process that sometimes works out great for me. It comes out, I'm painting and everything works out perfectly, and other times it just doesn't. And that's why I'm saying don't give up, keep going, walk away if you need to, but just keep trying.
Okay, whenever I'm at this point where I'm not sure, I do like to use my white, my brushes, and kind of get refocused. And do the same thing here. It was only wet because it was sitting in the my little bucket, my plastic container. So I didn't add any water. I just kind of squeezed it off on a paper towel. Okay, now, although I love this part here, it's the color I'm finding that's bothering me. So I'm gonna keep working on that. Decided I'm gonna leave it for now. I'm gonna work on areas I know I wanna change. Just by putting the white on top of these areas here. You can still do this with a sponge. I'm just choosing to do it with my brush, just to soften everything. I think it was a little too gray, too harsh. Dipping it into the white and then into the matte medium. This is looking a lot more ethereal, is what I had in my as my intention. And so I'm much happier with it. And so there you go. It didn't take long to kind of sit back and think about how I wanted to change this up. And really, unless you experiment, you don't know. So I'm glad I tried that purple. You can still see remnants of it there, so when you look up close, it's all there. And I'll show you. And it's nice because then you'll see the layers of colors here, which makes the painting, as I always say, very interesting to look up close, get you in there and really look at the painting. So it's interesting. All of these additions are very subtle, but again, it just adds that much more interest when you're looking at the painting up close. And if someone's going to buy it, I want to make sure that it is very beautiful, interesting, has depth, and it speaks to the person who's buying it. So I really take my time to make sure that I do that. And really, even if you're just doing this for yourself, it still should be something that's perfect for you. Now, when do you know a painting is finished? It's when you can't do anything else to it. I'm gonna work on this just a little bit more. I don't think I'm gonna do anything here. Even though the color is very different for me, I think it works. I like it. Just gonna get these dark areas kind of nestled in there just a little bit more. Wiggling my brush. I don't know the name of this brush. If anybody can tell me, I'd love to know, because people have asked me, and best I can find, or people have told me that it's a filbert, but I don't think it's a filbert. Filbert are kind of like rounded. This is rounded, but it comes to a point. So I don't know what this is. I bought it years and years ago when I first started. I don't know what it is, if anybody can tell me.
Sorry to interrupt, but I found it. I went to the store and I found the brush. Here it is. It's a 12 round.
That looks much more interesting. I hope you agree. It's finally all coming together. It's a little bit frustrating at some points when you're thinking that it's not going to come together, but it actually all does, the more you keep working at it. And for me this time it really was using this brush. I love using my sponges, but the brushes, I find for me, give you that final detail work that I love to do. You know, you don't have to, but I like these areas all around the whole painting where it's all kind of finished. It's like having a raw edge, I guess, on something. It's either done properly or it's left. And both can be equally beautiful. I just like having that finished look. And, you know, people, whoever's going to buy this is going to be spending a lot of money. And it better be something that looks finished and beautiful. Only putting the tiniest amount on the brush, small. And because of that, you're moving it around and it dries super quick. I've always used acrylics, so I'm used to the drying time. I actually get frustrated when it doesn't dry quickly. I don't know that I could work in oils because of that. But if you need to, there are extenders that you can use on the brush, on the paints, with this paints, for you to be able to use it longer, have an open time to them, but I don't, and I never have. I do the same thing here as I did on the other side and really kind of nestle in.
So even though I do get very frustrated, I think of it try and think of it anyway in a positive note. I learn each time I'm doing something why it's getting me frustrated. Is it the colors? Is it me that day and just not thinking clearly? Am I using the wrong tools for the time? So it's a way to kind of process things. And you know, it ends up being a base. And then in this case, I took the white and went over it, and it became something really beautiful out of frustration. So that's why I always say, and I keep saying, don't get frustrated, or if you do, keep going, because you just have to think of it kind of sometimes a little bit more technically, or you know, just even more positively, that it is a process and that you'll get there. And if you don't finish it in one day, no big deal. If you don't finish it in 2 or 3, no big deal. I don't worry about that kind of stuff. I just keep going until I paint something that I truly love.
I decided that this part here that I liked is beautiful, but it's a good base for adding the white over. And I think in the end it's gonna work better than if I had left it. I think I like this much better. You've got that color coming through from the white, and it makes more sense to me now. Even though I really liked it, I knew it'd have to get changed, and I was hesitating on changing it, but it is the right thing to do. Just like the rest of the painting, you see colors coming through. Okay, so as promised, here are the colors I used: Artist Loft Titanium White, Pebeo Studio Payne's Gray, Amsterdam Van Dyke Brown, Liquitex Mars Black, a little bit of the Liquitex Prism Violet, which I ended up really not using. I showed you this, the Liquitex Matte Medium, a little bit of the Cadmium Yellow Deep Hue by Liquitex, and also Amsterdam's Sky Blue Light. And those are the colors that I used. Okay, so I have lived with this really just for a day. I let it go and I came back looking at it, and I think I love it. I don't think I'm going to do anything else to it. I love this section here. Did change, and I'm glad I changed it. It looks so much better this way, and all the details in here that make it look really striking. So I'm super happy with the way this is looking, and I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you think about this painting, and if you're even going to try the sponge technique that I use. Coming up are up close images, and click on the link you see now to see more of my sponge paintings.
Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. It really helps out my channel. Give the video a thumbs up, and don't forget to click on that bell icon so you receive all notifications for my new videos. Thank you.